Alexander the Great is remembered as one of the most brilliant commanders in human history. He was a king who never lost a single battle, a conqueror who created one of the largest empires of the ancient world, and a leader whose ideas reshaped culture, war, and politics forever. Yet his life was short, intense, and filled with ambition, glory, and mystery. Alexander was born in 356 BC in the ancient kingdom of Macedon. His father, King Philip II, united the Greek city-states and transformed Macedon into a powerful military force. His mother, Olympias, was determined to convince her son that he was destined for greatness. She raised him to believe that his blood came from warriors and heroes. Alexander's most important influence in childhood was his teacher, Aristotle, one of the greatest philosophers in history. Under Aristotle, Alexander studied science, medicine, philosophy, and strategy. These lessons shaped his mind and taught him how to lead, not just with force, but with intelligence and diplomacy. By the time he was a teenager, Alexander was already showing signs of genius. At the age of 16, he ruled Macedon in his father's absence. At 18, he led troops in battle and helped defeat the Greek army at Chaeronea. But in 336 BC, everything changed. King Philip II was assassinated. Alexander, only 20 years old, suddenly became king. His enemies believed a young ruler would be weak. Greek states rebelled. Rivals inside the court plotted against him. Alexander answered with speed and power. He destroyed rebellions, proved his strength, and secured his throne. And then, he chose to fulfill his father's dream: the conquest of Persia, the richest and most powerful empire in the world. In 334 BC, Alexander crossed into Asia with a relatively small army, but one of the best trained in history. His first major victory was at the Battle of the Granicus, where Persian forces were defeated. A year later, at Issus, Alexander faced the Persian king, Darius III, for the first time. The Persian army was huge, but Alexander's strategy, speed, and discipline crushed them. Darius escaped, and Alexander became famous across the world. He then marched into Egypt, where people welcomed him as a liberator. There, he founded a city that still exists, Alexandria, a center of science and culture for centuries. In 331 BC, Alexander met Darius again at Gaugamela, one of the most important battles in ancient history. Darius commanded a massive army. Alexander was outnumbered, but his strategy broke the Persian lines and forced Darius to flee once more. This victory ended the Persian Empire. At only 25 years old, Alexander became ruler of a world stretching from Greece to Egypt and deep into Asia. Yet he wanted more. Alexander continued east, marching through deserts and mountains, reaching the edge of India. There he fought the famous Battle of the Hydaspes against King Porus. Alexander won, but the battle was brutal. His army, exhausted and far from home, finally refused to continue further. After nearly a decade of conquest, Alexander returned to Babylon. In 323 BC, at just 32 years old, Alexander fell suddenly ill and died. No one knows the true cause. Malaria, poison, infection, historians still debate it. He left behind no clear heir and no instructions. Within a few years, his generals divided the empire he had built. Although his empire collapsed, his influence did not. Alexander spread Greek culture, language, and ideas across 3 continents. He changed warfare forever. Cities he founded became centers of learning. Even today, more than 2,000 years later, his name remains legendary. Alexander the Great conquered the world, but the world could not conquer his legacy.